Hi, everybody.
Hey there, welcome.
Hello, guys. So, you're tuning in to Indigenous Coffee Talks, a space for live conversations with interesting people from all over the world. And what do they have in common? Their passion for Jesus, stories, and digital ideas. So, where are you listening from? We would love to know. So, you can just key in the comments below where you're hearing us from. And you know what? It's also time to tag your friends. Because in Coffee Talks, there's always a great story.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm Zona. I'm from the Philippines. I love coffee and I love seeing different people coming together for a common mission towards a cause greater than themselves. So hosting with me is one of the co-founders of Indigitus who lives in Singapore, Simon Seo. Okay, this side.
Hello, everyone. In each episode, you get a glimpse into how God is at work in communities around the world. It's always thrilling to see the innovation and the creative ways in bringing the gospel to where it needs to go. We have these conversations so that you can catch a story, grab an idea, and go do something with others. We're so glad you chose to join us today.
All right. So Simon, during the last episode, we talked with to Phoenix, right, from
We
Texas.
did, yes.
Yeah. So he shared about how an indigenous community catalyzed relationships, such as finding good friends who share the same passion and burdens with him. So this time, we will fly from the US to Singapore and we will listen to stories of encouragement and friendship too, but not with students, but among missionaries and workplace individuals. So since you know them personally, Simon, can you share more about our guests?
Well, it would be an honor. Yeah, I got to know Zale, and that's how you pronounce his name, Zale, and Reggie, and both in different times. But I've become, good friends and love these brothers. And Zale has a business background. In fact, he's a entrepreneur. He might tell you a little bit more about his, web development and business.
Cool.
But he came first to join Hashtag 2016 when we first launched in Singapore. And it was really cool to see him join as a participant and then eventually volunteered to lead. And then now he is one of the co-leads for Indigenous Singapore. And Zale, and later on, we hope we can unpack the story a little bit, was
I love
first
stories.
exposed to Indigenous because Zale was giving a workshop casting a vision for digital, in the kingdom. And not Zale, Reggie, he
Reggie, yeah.
works. That's right. He works as a youth worker with Youth for Christ, and so a ministry background, but then realizing this is also a key place that he wants to develop and find connections. So, without further ado, let's bring them on screen.
All
Dale and
right.
Reggie.
Hello.
Hey, let's
Hello.
welcome them.
Hello. Hello.
It's our
Hi
first time to
there.
host four people on screen, so this
That's
is so
right.
fun.
We have a
Wow.
crowded screen now.
I'm sitting on a sofa. Yeah.
No, nobody's on the sofa. Are you on the sofa, Zale?
I am.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Wow.
that's nice. Well, how are you guys doing this evening?
Uh, Singapore weather has been very hot.
Singapore weather, yeah. I think I know that. I'm also in Singapore. That's right. It
That's
is
an
pretty
info
hot.
for me. That's an info for me. Okay. Thanks
That
for
is
Yeah.
sharing,
true.
Bridget.
Yeah. Well, you know how in Singapore they say, yeah, we are air conditioned everywhere, so we don't go
Yeah.
out, because we just cannot bear the heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining
Mm.
us for this coffee talk. We'll buy you the real coffee the next time we meet in person.
He's got
When the
one.
res- that's right, when the restrictions are eased. But maybe let's begin with this. Share a story of how you came to be involved with Indigenous, and what keeps you still serving, right? So maybe just start with what's the story of you coming to be involved. Maybe we start with Zale. How about that?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Um, um, like what Simon said, I came to know about Indigitus in 2016. So I still remember at that time I was quite a fresh Christian, very new to the faith, and if I'm not wrong, only about 2 years in. Um, but I was kind of captivated when I first heard that there's this group of believers coming together to do something, hackathon apparently. And I just thought, why not? I just go and listen and see what's going on, right? So uh, I remember I was hearing this through my church, and so we had a like an impromptu gathering just before service at this bungalow just next to our church,
Mm.
somebody's house apparently. So there were like 15 of us, and at the time, Jen and Jay, I don't know if you're watching this, they were sharing. They were the first leads for hashtag, right? Uh, Sharing about hackathon, and I just know then and then that this is something that I want to do. Like, in fact, I decided to sign up like literally on the spot, right? Not, but I didn't. Well, I didn't fill in a form on the spot, but I made a decision. Yeah, it was so interesting how I use my skill sets all the time in the circular world, and finally I can connect that back to uh, this new purpose I received in life. Yeah, and that's really
Mm.
amazing. Yeah, purpose was the reason why I became a Christian. Like that was the message for me. Yeah, yeah. So, and long story short, year on year, I find myself from a participant, I became part of the organizing team, to eventually one of the the lead, the organizer, and then subsequently many roles. Now, of course, this year I'm not playing the key role, but still very happy to help. Yeah, and very quite honored actually to have Reggie and also Mervin lead this year's hashtag. So awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
That's wonderful. Love it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And Reggie, how about you?
So I first got to know Indigenous through mission conference. There's this mission conference called Go Forth. Yeah, so I think it's organized almost like every year. So happened that that year, um, as a full-time staff in Youth for Christ, we get to go there for free. Yeah, so having go there, one of the workshop that caught my eyes was hashtag no, not hashtag, sorry, hashtag Jesus. Yeah, so I thought, wow, it was very interesting that it is actually basically technology and Jesus. So I went, and little did I know that it was actually a sharing by Indigenous, and Zil was the main person who was sharing that day, and he
Mm.
was so captivating that it really captured my heart to join Indigenous. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
And then you came for the hack, right? And what
Mm.
year was that when you joined hack?
Uh, Zil, do you remember? I think
In
it's
2018, right,
2018,
at
right?
MOX, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I still
2018.
remember your speaker and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I joined. I didn't intend to join Indigenous per se, but I think I was just trying to understand what I'm very curious about how technology can be used in ministry. So I decided to volunteer myself in their event as a logistic helper, and through it, I hope that I can learn something from there and then bring back to my own ministry. That was my intention. That's all. Didn't intend to join Indigenous at first, actually.
So
Yeah.
now that
Mm.
you mentioned that, Reggie, what made you
Yeah.
stay?
That's a very good question. Um, okay, I think what made me stay was basically two factors. Number one is I have been looking for people who are like-minded, and I mean, being in Youth for Christ, in ministry, I think so often the time, because as a main person like in charge of the ministry, you often work alone. Not that you don't have team members, but it's a very different feeling if you have a team that are on this very like-minded with you and could spar with you. And that's what that was what I experienced in during the first hashtag, and together with the team, Matt Zale and Aaron and so on. Yeah, so that's one. Second reason why I think I stayed was because actually it was during that period of time where uh so I I actually love tech, and not but I'm not into tech, a lot of technology. But yeah, at the same time, I'm also in ministry. So it was at a time that was pre-COVID. There was at a time where I realized that oh, technology must come into ministry in order to really
Mm.
bring ministry to a really another level. Yeah, and indigenous is where I see they are trying to do. So I think the mission, the purpose of indigenous resonated a lot with my heart, or at least what the Lord has been showing me. So that's why I carry on with that. So these two
Mm,
reasons. Mm.
it's good.
Yeah, that's great.
And
How
of course, zeal, charisma.
It's good.
God, God.
How about you, Sale?
Yeah.
What can you say about your
Um,
charisma? No, I'm kidding. What made you stay? Yeah.
um, well, to be honest, this is my 2016 to now, almost fifth to sixth year already, right?
Mm.
So every year, well, the first few years anyway, I always have thoughts of like, yes, I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna stop doing this. It's
Mm.
just taking too much from me, and I feel so overwhelmed. Like every year, I have these kind of thoughts. But I think somehow, God always encourages us in His own ways, and I
Mm,
believe that's through the people that He put around us, right?
mm,
So I didn't really ask Him for anything at all, but somehow He just positioned people like Reggie, Aaron, Tess, to say, and I just want to name them out now.
mm,
Gordon.
Yeah.
Mervin, Vivian, and all these good people in the community. They are basically my core team, lah, if you will, and also very deep friends that I've been with in a few years.
mm,
And, I stay because every time I feel like I'm alone, I experience friendship and support from these people once again, right? And
mm,
I do things with them lah, again and again. And every year we just have
mm,
ideas and new things. But what stays the same is this deep um, like-mindedness, like what Reggie shared earlier, for the uh, the Great Commission in the digital space, and we just have
yeah.
so much ideas together. But the more the okay, I won't say more, but more of the other important thing is when we are doing that, right, and we come together, right, it's just like brothers and sisters. We joke a lot. We
Mm.
we
Yeah.
poke fun each other a lot as well. Uh,
Yeah.
and and I mean, one year, one of the key joke was a hairstyle from one of our
Oh my gosh, I
friends,
remember that. Oh boy.
the
We
mullet
shouldn't say
hairstyle.
who, right? Don't say, don't say.
Okay, okay, I'll not bring it on this time around. Yeah, but and these are the things that we shared as as a group. So I cherish that a lot, and when the things get difficult, right, I tend to go back a lot to that as well. Yeah, other than
Wow.
of
Mm.
praying about it, lah. So the other second thing is, as I shared earlier, is the sense of purpose. Part of the reason
Mm.
why I went uh, into the faith is that Jesus ended his life with the statement, "It is done." Right? That's his purpose completed. And to me, purpose is very important. And what I saw was that even throughout the years in hashtag, people finding in a way their purpose in with their skill sets and their own unique stories
Mm.
through figures like hashtag, that they are able
Mm,
to execute what God has planned for them. Through some of the projects we
mm,
put in place, some of the people that we connect with, etc. So
Mm.
that has been the prime driver for a lot of the like why I keep doing this again and again and again, because I
Yeah.
see
yeah.
people finding purpose. Like people
Mm.
like Gordon, one of the young believers in our community. He has been going deeper and deeper each year. I mean, there's a joke about that, and it just makes me so happy that he's finding
Mm.
this
Mm.
relationship God through us now. Yeah,
Love it.
just
Love
one
it.
of the many
Mm.
examples. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I even got the chance to and the privilege to be able to join your crew when I
Yeah,
visited Singapore in 2016, I think.
Yeah.
fun
And
times.
Nice.
yeah, and even if I was new to the group, I could sense that space where the like-mindedness and the like-heartedness kind of oozed out and made me pray for for this kind of community as well for us in the Philippines. And we
Yeah.
really, yeah, that was a really, igniting moment for me. I get to
Mm.
able to see and be with you guys. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
now that you've shared that there has been some like-mindedness, like-heartedness, I'm just curious, how does your conversations look like? Being able to share those kinds of in that space together. What have you been talking about?
Reggie, you want to share?
Uh, uh, okay, so it's a very interesting yeah. So like I mentioned, like-minded, right? So I think we come from all walks of life. So for me, I come from ministry. I come from Christian organization. So at first I thought, what do I have to offer? I mean, all of them are in startup. All of them
Mm,
are in some happening secular job out there. What do I
Happening.
have to offer?
Yeah.
Yeah, but somehow it looks so nice that from people in the secular tech startup and so on, right? They will share their their longing to see how mission can be done in the digital space. And
mm,
Mm-hmm.
for us, from ministry, we bring in the part about, hey, we know how you can turn that technology for ministry, for
yeah,
mission.
like that.
Yeah, so we become, yeah, so for me, I feel that I have such privilege that God has given me, that I understand a little bit of tech, not so much,
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yet a little bit of ministry, and I become like the the center to know how both work. So I think
Mm.
in our community conversation, that's what we talk about, that we
Wow.
balance each other, like needs. Like for me is to understand, like for example, Simon, you showed the what's that called, um the presentation that the
You can do it.
yeah, correct. Right. It's called right. So I think because
Oh,
of that, yeah, because of that, I think it really enhanced for ministry what we can do with it, and
I
yeah. So
see.
I think there's a mutual, okay, like what the verse says, iron sharpen iron. Yeah.
Okay, for our listeners that don't have no clue what we just said,
Oh, yeah, what's
we-
that?
he was referring to a software, or that's similar to on
Oh, right.
Zoom. It's called mm-hmm. We're
Yeah.
not sponsored by them, but this is a
Oh,
shout out for them. But yeah, but he's just illustrating it's true, right? Somebody brings an
yeah,
idea, you try it out, you test it, and you experience something new, right,
Mm,
Reggie?
mm,
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
I love it that I think what heard you describe was like the breadth and the depth also for of the body of Christ, right? We
mm,
sometimes differences are difficult, right? I mean, that's the reality. We're different, we have different backgrounds, we have we bring different things, but sometimes different is good
yeah,
mm,
and unexpected. So one of the things if I were to throw in, when as I join you guys, I know I've had less and less opportunities to do that, but I feel like this is an unexpected way that God brings people into this community,
Mm.
right?
mm,
Like you described, Hazael, your journey. There is some unexpectedness to it, right? And how you ended up doing what you're doing, and continue to do it. And then Reggie, in unexpected ways, God led your journey. But then also the unexpected people that are different, that are actually a representation of the beauty of the body of Christ. Yeah.
mm.
yeah, yeah. Agree.
Yeah, and at the same time, the aspect of being able to find your tribe, like, yeah, I don't need to explain myself when I talk about, using for, yeah, the name of the app, and to be able
Uh,
to use it for missions and stuff like that. Yeah. How about you,
Yeah.
Sale?
Uh, I mean, the question is, what do we talk about, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
What were some defining
yeah,
conversations for you in the team?
completely what you just said, Jonah. Like-minded language and jokes. So,
Mm,
uh, well, one light-hearted thing that we always talk about, like geek jokes, right, is the idea of Android versus Apple, right?
oh
Very
boy.
idea
Yeah.
of of us. But in Indigenous Singapore, we use that a lot to kind of like break the ice with new people. Because like immediately we say, hey, are you Android or are you Apple? Then we definitely have an opinion about that, right? And
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
has that.
we say that we will
Everybody knows that.
like playful quotes at each other, like, hey, you changed to Apple, ah? Yeah, so there's like 50% of us who are one camp, and like we'll just
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah.
say like this is better, that better. It never ends, but it kind of warms up the whole thing. So that's one way that we talk
Mm.
about. But
Yeah.
I must say that I completely resonate with the idea that different people bring different things, and well, as you guys are sharing about this, it comes to my mind. In our group, as we come together, we are quite different in our backgrounds, really different. The way we
Mm-hmm.
think, our interests,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned a lot from that. So I give you a few examples. Aaron, my co-city lead, he's very intellectual. He talks about big picture and critical thinking stuff lah. So every time he speaks, I tend to listen a lot, and I learn a lot from that. And I feel a little more intelligent along the way.
IQ plus plus.
Yeah, so soaking in. Reggie, on the other hand, right, he always talk about loving people, and I told him so many times
Mm.
that was one key thing that I've really picked up along the
Awesome.
years. Like it was a very new concept to me. I'm a very task-oriented person, so it transformed me in a certain way. Yeah, and it
Mm-hmm.
shows up in how I manage my team in the marketplace nowadays.
Mm.
Then other people, they are more idea centric. They tend to speak off the tangent. Sometimes as an executioner, like I execute stuff myself, right? I find it like, wow, that's a little bit over the board. But the ideas that they share is so interesting. Like for example, we got together, this Zijian and Tabs, right? We were just chatting about the various ways that we can activate digital natives, right, in the
Mm.
business circle. So we thought about how about we have a kind of like a fellowship and discipleship circle for Christian influencers, etc., etc. Yeah, and in hopes that they are able to like impact their own communities, right? So these are the
Mm.
things that we dream about, and we also explore while having fun, and that
Yeah.
that is normally what happens during our meets. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Mm,
Earlier part, I remember you talking using the phrase, sort of to describe indigenous as like the Great Commission being fulfilled in a digital space. Yeah, and I love to explore that a little bit more with you as both of you unpack. How have you seen the indigenous community in Singapore begin to serve the body of
Mm.
Christ in Singapore?
Mm.
mm,
Mm. Maybe if I can share a little bit on that. Um, I I think it's a shared global identity now that we are in this COVID situation, right? And for us, many of us who are engaging the local community of believers, it is a very huge conversation of what church means or what mission means right now. So as Indigenous Singapore, we also find ourselves as part of that conversation, uh, whether actively or how actively as well. And we felt that we had to respond. Like a few of our co-leaders want to respond, and the way we have done it is, I feel, is to start opening up conversations about the question of what digital missions are. Uh,
mm,
we organize events that peer into that.
Mm.
We show examples. Actually, a few of us actually hosted digital missions in various ways. That term is still quite like open for interpretation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is how we have been, I believe, looking into fulfilling the digital, the commission, the Great Commission on the digital space. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think a lot of us will have the same view. Like COVID has been a catalyst for this to happen,
Mm.
and
Mm.
now it's so much easier to open up this conversation and to share it to the next believer, right, next brother and sister, that this is what we are doing. And I think in a way they will understand because it's happening to them in their business and their work as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's one.
yeah.
And the second thing is then about like activation, and the way the in digital Singapore community is trying to do is to still bring together a strong community through relationships, right? First and
Yeah.
foremost, spiritual journeying. But in the process of that, we are very sure that there are people with burdens to do more. There are people with that
Mm.
fire that haven't really ignited yet. And what we want to do is to then place them in the way of people whom we call maybe missionpreneurs or people hosting digital missions, and just let God do His in a way magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and things
Mm.
happen. We're seeing a lot of examples of this already, and we just want it to go like you know in bigger scale and bigger scale, and at the same time we know it's all in the hands of God lah. He's
Mm.
the one
Mm.
That's
driving
great.
all this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cool.
Actually, I want to add on to what Zil just shared. I think
Mm.
Indigenous has really provided Christians who have either they have the tech and digital skills
Mm.
to have a platform to serve. I don't know how other in other countries how churches are, but in Singapore actually, if you talk about serving in church, there's only like usher, Bible study teacher, um, PA, but you don't see cropping up programmer,
Mm.
yeah, and so on. So I think that's one. And second group of Christians that would be they actually really wanted to do something about tech. They really want to. They might not be tech savvy. I mean, over the years when we ran hashtag, we are so surprised to see people who doesn't have tech skill come on hashtag to join the hackathon.
Yeah.
Last year we
Totally.
have the oldest Zil was how old? 60 years old.
Around there.
Around there, I
Mm.
was so
Ah,
surprised, and she torn through the night with the team.
Wow.
I really think that there are people out there who
Mm.
saw the need as well that we
Mm-hmm.
need to use tech for ministry, and I think this indigenous became the platform for them to finally exercise what they have been burdened for.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
So I just
great.
want to add on to the activation part of what Sale said.
Love it. Looks like one of
Mm.
our listeners is agreeing with you, and
Mm.
exactly what you just said, Reggie, that even for indigenous in Philippines, I think that's what Phil's mean. And it is a huge opportunity, and then inviting the people of God, envisioning them, making sure they feel like they have something to contribute, and they do.
Mm.
They
yeah.
absolutely do. Yeah. I know you are just on the cusp of doing something really huge this weekend. Um, some of our listeners know about it, some don't know. Can you tell us what's going on this weekend and how it's actually also serving the body of Christ?
Right. Okay. Yes. Like all over the world, we are we are running hashtag. Feel free if you're not Singaporean, you can also join us. Okay. Yeah. So as we come together, we were thinking. So what is it that COVID has disrupted ministry or church? And I think as we list out, one of the area is foreign mission or mission. So we decided that this year our team for Singapore chapter we will be focusing on foreign mission, and we are create. It's our first time doing having two tracks. Track number one is basically solutioning track, which is the usual, where you come together and create a create a prototype for to solve a specific missional problem. Okay, so that's the usual. Track two is we felt that actually a lot of churches are so in Singapore, churches uses mission trips, short-term mission trips to expose their church members to mission, and hopefully some of them God may move them to be a missionary. So this has been disrupted. So recently, Cru Singapore has and Youth for Christ has came out with digital mission trips. So we thought that this could be a model that church people can actually model and use it for their church as well. So there will be a second track where you can join to be part of a digital mission trips where you are actually going to a trip but digitally reaching out to the people lah. Yeah, helping a missional partner. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. Cool.
So tell us a little bit about how you're feeling as Hack is just about to start tomorrow.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to?
How many people have signed up, and what's going on? What's the buzz?
How feeling a bit stressed, totally. But I was reminded as I was preparing for the hashtag, I was reminded about our this year theme verse, which is found in Acts. I shall not go into details, but the whole idea is that the people was being disrupted because of Stephen's persecution, but yet something amazing happened was that the gospel, the good news was spread to even more people, and many people came to know the Lord. I guess as I was preparing for the hashtag, I was reminded about this verse, and I think it really grounds me and remember that okay, hashtag is just a vehicle, a means.
Totally.
The
Mm,
goal, the goal is gospel uh movement. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think I should be excited more about that than to worry about
mm,
the means, you know.
mm.
I
Yeah.
love it.
So
The
yeah,
gospel
yeah,
movement.
yeah,
I have a picture here I want to show us. This is from, of course, the pre-COVID time. I
yeah.
think I
Those are the
think there was
days.
a more crazy picture that we took, but this is also part of the vision, right? It's the people who are part of the gospel movements, and I think a key theme from tonight's conversation, you guys have been talking about relationships and
Mm,
people working together and sharpening, our skills and honoring Him.
mm.
And so to me this is kind of the highlight. I know that, yeah, as you are in the thick of all the details and the programming, is like,
Yeah,
oh.
we're
So
praying
I'm
for you
really
Yeah.
guys.
thankful. Yeah, really thankful that you said what you said, that God is kind of lifting your eyes to see, hey, what is the vision, right? What is the opportunity ahead of us? And we'll definitely be praying for you. As
Mm.
Reggie alluded to, this is a global event, so
Mm,
all kinds of things are happening right now. I think we have 15 to 16 cities that are hacking this
mm.
weekend, and then the rest of the 60 over are hacking the following weekend or next weekend.
Yeah,
Mm.
us
Mm.
So
included. Woo,
in the Philippines
woo.
too? Okay, cool.
Next week, next week. Yeah.
Next week, yeah. 36 countries are part of this global missional hackathon. So wherever you
Nice.
are listening in or later, please go check out hack.indigenous.org. So, yeah, I think this has been a wonderful, oh, cool, great mission and vision. Somebody just made a comment. We wanted to just give you one last chance. We are wrapping up our little coffee talks. What is one thing that you'd like to say to Indigenous leaders or folks that are listening to this? Joining us today.
Yeah.
Zio, I talk a lot. You want to go first?
To be honest, I think a lot about this question. Okay, but I will share whatever comes to my mind. I believe is to surround yourself with people you love working with, and also to
Mm,
let God surround you with people
Mm,
that He wants you to work with. Both,
mm,
yeah. Um,
mm,
because we can't do this alone, right? And
mm,
we could really do with different perspectives and different strengths, and to do things together as a community. So that will be one way I feel to grow, really grow, uh, yeah, the movement in the city lah. Yeah. So
yeah.
in Singapore, we are really blessed at we have a group of really committed folks, whether they are on the core team or they are just coming for hashtag year after year. I'm really thankful for that. Yeah, and I can't wait to see what else can we do from here.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Reggie,
So the question is share one thing
what
you want to share
what
to
is
the
one final thing you want to say to our,
yeah.
our listeners or Indigenous leaders around the world?
Yeah.
okay. I wrote something on the board.
Whoa, what
Uh,
is that?
this is not credit to me, but I just
Wow.
heard it yesterday. Do you realize that names and means have the same letters?
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
So I think I think sometimes when we are in hackathon or when we are doing hashtag, we can be so focused on the means.
Mm.
So we love the means so much that we forgot that actually the end goal is names. It's actually people. Yeah, so I think I think one of the thing that I want to leave with our audience or indigenous leaders of a place is, don't forget that, don't forget people, don't forget names. Yeah,
Mm,
and because if you, as much as you care about the means, care about the tech, care about the people. And if you care about the people, then you will care about the conversations and the culture that you guys are in. Yeah, so I think
mm,
this is from a coming from ministry person point of view. I think this is the thing that work out for us surprisingly in this in digital Singapore. And I think this is the thing I feel that it is the one that
mm.
will pivot us forward with bring the gospel into the digital space. Yeah.
Wow, so profound. Wow, this is such a packed, feature-rich time. I wish we could dig in more on that, but at last our time has come to a close. And thank you so much, Reggie and Zale. You guys, just exude this sense that God, you're men on a mission, right? Because God has captured your heart and you are very clear that you need to surround yourself with people who are also on a mission and then loving each other well. So Reggie, what you just said, it's not just about getting things done or the means of getting it, but it's also people. Again, just the way you talk about your friends, in the team with such affection, even though you're kind of joke about silly stuff, which we all do, but you are serious about the mission. And for us, as the rest of us who are listening, I hope something sparked in you that you also want to go find a community like that. And that's what truly Indigenous wants to reflect. Wow, cool. Gordon made a shout out to Zale and Reggie, man on track. Awesome. Well, Jonah, back to you as you wrap up our time.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Taylor and Reggie, and the whole Indigenous Singapore team. Yeah, so to all our viewers there, if you grabbed an idea or did something, we'd love to hear your stories too. So tag us in your socials because here in Indigitas, we're about helping you reach your world. So we get excited about all the different ways you do this right where you are. So as mentioned today, one way you can start to explore this is during this month's hack. So if you haven't signed up yet, you can visit hack.indigitas.org. So have a great day ahead. See you next time.
Stay
Bye,
healthy.
guys.
God bless.